People dream about coming to America to live the American dream. However, it's been getting harder and harder and harder to get a visa that allows you to work.
In the land of opportunity.
I'm Sylvia.
And I'm Alan.
It's time to hang out with us while we enjoy love, life, and happiness after 22 years of marriage. Our goal is to ignite that thing that says relationships don't have to die just because they are old. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The reason why we ended up in America, we didn't actually plan it, did we?
No.
So let me tell you what happened. I was working one night and I noticed that my coworker was reading a big book, which is this book. I still have my copy, this one. NCLEX RN Review, this book. So I asked her what she was reading. She told me that she was studying for NCLEX, an exam that allows her to work in America. So I didn't even know what NCLEX was. So she explained more and she suggested that maybe I signed up and we can study together. I thought, oh, let me go and talk to my husband and see what he thinks.
Yes, I sort of remember you coming home and I remember you saying something about, oh, we're thinking about going to America. And I was thinking, yeah, here in England, I'm just fed up with freezing my barnacles off. So why not move to a warmer place? As long as it's not Alaska, I don't mind.
Right, so once you say that, I went ahead and I signed up with an agency called Payton. Then it was crush time, studying. So they gave me this book and 2 CDs that had 4,000 questions. I remember going over those questions over and over and over. Do you remember?
Yeah, when you were asking me, I probably knew just about as much as you asking me. I had to keep asking you, what's this, what's that,
yeah.
What's this, what's that?
And to some point, I would actually answer. I would know the answer before you even finish the question. That's how serious I was. So I was doing that, when I was at home. Then when I was working with my friend, we would study together. After 4 months, I went to the agency and I told them that I was ready to take the exam. And they were like, it usually takes 9 to 18 months for someone to actually pass the exam. And I told them, no, it's okay, I'm ready. They were like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm ready.
And they did say that if you didn't pass, you'd have to pay again, remember?
Oh yeah, they said that, do you realize that if you don't pass, you'll have to pay again? And I was like, I'm good. So we were going on vacation to Cape Town in South Africa. I took the exam on a Friday and we flew out Saturday, the following day. Then a few days, maybe a week later, while we were in South Africa in a hotel, I received a phone call to let me know that I had passed with flying colors. And the lady that was on the phone said, well, you can now discuss with your family where you want to stay, what state you want to stay. So initially we wanted to move to New York or California.
California, because the weather's pretty good in California.
I think a lot of people dream about living in New York and California because those are the two most popular states. I mean, they're well known, right? When you talk of United States, people think of California, because of Hollywood and New York. I have a cousin that lives in Dallas. He explained that, you know what, guys? If you move to Texas, if you sell your house in London and you move to Texas, you'll buy a mansion. So we started, doing our research and we realized that he was 100% right. So that's when we decided to move to America, to Texas.
But it wasn't so bad for me because we still had a house or two in England. So if it hadn't worked here, we could have could have just left and come back to England and just moved back into our house. We wouldn't have been like some people. I knew moved to Australia, didn't like it. When they come back, they had no house to go to, nothing.
No, we
like
made
starting
sure,
again.
Yeah, we made sure that,
we weren't going to start again twice.
Start again, all over again. Grady Payton, what they did for us was to get me a job, planned everything for us in terms of immigration and everything. It took about a little over a year.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't that easy either. We sold a couple of our houses, do you remember? And so we had to go through all that rigmarole of putting them on the market.
Yeah, you had to sell your house.
And we had a time period to which we had to sell it. So it wasn't, or sell them, should I say. So it wasn't, it was hard work, sort of, in a way, you know, because there was a worry we had to sell these houses, we had, so that we could make sure that all the other houses were set up so that we had somebody else looking after them. We had a fair bit of work to do before we, even though we already knew then Sylvia had passed the exams, we were going to definitely move at that point, but we had a deadline. And that's, to me, that was the most worrying, to get everything finished in that deadline.
Right. So the agent had told me that we got you a job in Houston. No, we got you a job in Beaumont, but it's close to Houston. It's 15 minutes away from Houston.
Yeah.
But when we got to Bush Intercontinental Airport, remember, we got on a small plane?
Yeah.
And that's when you said, hold on a minute. If this place is 15 minutes away from Houston, why are we flying to?
That's right,
yeah. That place.
That didn't make sense.
It can be. And sure enough, it's Beaumont from here is about 1.5 hours.
Something like that.
Depending on traffic,
yeah.
It can take you 2 hours to drive to Beaumont. When we arrived in Beaumont, Grady Payton had a couple, Morris and Pat,
that
nice
were,
couple. They worked for Grady Payton. So they met us at the airport and took us to La Quinta.
The first thing I remember, because don't forget as well, you forgot that we also lost a few things on the way. Do you remember rushing to get the plane, to collect our flights? Didn't we? We left a few things. And what was that box we left?
I can't remember.
But we left a few things. But in any case, so you imagine we were a bit stressed out by the time we got there. And then we got into their car, and to us it was like a bus.
Oh yeah, we're not used to big cars. Everything is big.
Small.
Everything is big in America.
Yeah, and in England, everything's small.
It's called a suburban.
Yeah, so it was like a bus.
It was like we were in a bus, like huge. If you looked back like this, it was like, wow.
It was obviously a seven-seater, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it was, to us, it was like a massive.
Our first experience of hotels in America was La Quinta.
Oh, yes.
That was...
the nightmare.
Nightmare. It was horrible.
The toilet was black. Where the water was, it was actually black.
I hated it.
And the television was in a cage box, so you couldn't get in to touch it or remove it. The remote must have been screwed, because I don't know how they would have changed the batteries, but it was on the side cabinet and you couldn't remove it. It was stuck there solid. You'd have to break it to remove it. And it was, unbelievable. And remember, wasn't the door looked like it'd been kicked in?
Oh yeah, the door looked like they'd been kicked in. That put me off. That was the first and last time I ever stayed.
We've never stayed in one
up
since
to now.
then.
Even if they
14 years later, and we passed them, and we know straight away. As soon as we pass it, when we go on a road trip, we think, oh my God.
La Quinta, we say no.
Let's pass this one. Let's go to the next one.
Not La Quinta.
Yeah.
Even if they say it's $1 a night, I am not staying in La
sleep in the
Quinta.
car.
No, I'm not going to stay in La Quinta. It was horrible. We moved into an apartment 2 days later.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Then you started complaining about, because you don't wanna, for some reason, he hates apartments. I don't know why. He doesn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually an apartment. It was a one-story building, wasn't it? Remember, when they were all in a row. There was nobody above us.
Wasn't it an apartment?
No, there was nobody above us. It had a roof.
Yeah, but it's apartments. They call
apartments. Yeah, but it's not like what we. So there was nobody above us. It was just like a bungalow, what we call a bungalow in England, for a single-story house. That's what it was. Don't you remember?
Anyway, I don't remember.
Well, I could get.
I call it an apartment. Yeah. Anyway, so you started complaining that let's buy a house. You started going on about buying a house because you didn't want to stay in there.
Didn't work out. What you were earning wasn't enough to pay the rent. So we were using our money from England to pay for the rent. So we're whittling our money away, which we want to use to buy a house.
So we went to see this house. It was a nice, big house. I think it was 300-something thousand.
Yeah, I can't remember how much it was, but it was an old house. It needed a lot of work doing on it, but it was.
You were getting all excited.
Oh, it had a pool as well, didn't it? Remember?
Get a pool. And I'm so glad I didn't listen to you.
Yeah, but the bloke...
Because if I listened to you, because we ended up in Houston anyway. Imagine if we'd...
Well, things were just working out that way. Because remember, the guy wouldn't... It'd been on the market for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was his mother's house, and she had obviously passed away, I'm sorry to say. But he wouldn't drop the price. He was saying, no, I want this much for it. And I said, well, we'll be paying cash for it. Why don't you drop it down so that, you know, we won't go for estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of
the
realtor, but he refused anyway.
So then after that, after you complaining about the apartment, then you started saying, you know, I hate this town, Beaumont, whatever it is. This is like we are in the country. You know, if you don't get a job in either Houston, Dallas, or another state, we are going back to London. Or if you don't want to go back, I'm going back to London. You started threatening me. That was, so we arrived in September. That was about September, October, November, end of November, you were complaining about that. Then we found out that actually I could buy myself out. I think it was 8,000.
Yeah.
Pounds.
It was 8,000 pounds.
Which works out as
$12,000.
$12,000.
Yeah.
So I started calling around looking for jobs in Houston. I called the first hospital I called. It was a new hospital. They were actually hiring, but only
night shift.
Night shift. And I said, I'll take anything. So they interviewed me over the phone and I was offered a job. I made an appointment because I had to come and sign some papers and whatever. And while we were, I started looking for houses. Then I found this place where we stay. It was a new upcoming, whatever, they were building new houses.
Show houses, didn't
they?
So
show houses.
Let's have a look at the show houses.
So I said, you know, after signing the papers, we went to look at the show houses. While we were there, we met Miriam. Mm-hmm. Remember, she was very friendly. Yeah. And she said, where are you guys from? Your accent and all that stuff. Then we started talking and we told her we're looking for a house. And she said, well, I'm a realtor. Yeah. We didn't know what a realtor was.
No, because we call them estate agents in England.
Yeah, in England,
that
they call
it.
And we were like, you're a realtor. You know, we need an estate agent. Anyway, she explained. Then we realized that it was the same thing, realtor, estate agent. Yeah. So then that was our. But
she helped us a lot because remember she found us a place to rent.
Oh yeah, she had to find us a place to rent.
Short term. We wanted a short term for only a month or so, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Once we paid the 12,000 to buy me out, I was free. They said I'm free. So that's when she got us a house to rent. We rented for 1 month only. Then that was in December. Then January 27 we moved into this house in 2000.
Yeah, because it's an inventory house, so it was already built, wasn't it? Most of it was built. There wasn't a lot left when we saw it.
So we didn't have to wait.
It wasn't from ground upwards. It was already.
The person who actually was building the house backed out.
No, the person who was buying the house backed out.
Yeah, buying the house, not building. Buying the house. So they told us about, there's this house, it's almost finished. It's actually finished, just a little bit.
Miriam found out about that though, didn't she? Because we were in the house we were in when we met her. Mm-hmm. She said that this is the same house. And we liked this house at the time. So we said, yeah, all right, then we'll go and have a look at it. Yeah. And we knocked the price down so much, we just couldn't refuse it.
So that's how we got to this house. And the good thing is, what O'Grady Payton, the agency, did for us was us getting our green cards.
Yeah,
in the mail. 2 weeks after arriving in Beaumont.
Did we get our green cards before we paid? Yeah, paid you off.
Before, because we were worried that if we pay
off, they won't get
we won't get our green cards. But they said no, that is irreversible. Yeah, you got your green cards now. You can pay us, buy yourself out. Yeah, and that's it. So that's why a lot of people didn't understand that we got our green cards already. How did you do it? That's how we got our green cards. O'Grady Payton just, put everything in place, arranged everything, applied for our green cards. Everything was done. We didn't have to worry about anything on it. Even our social security cards, everything just came into the mail.
The only thing, you got your green card first, didn't you? Because you had to work.
I had to work, yeah. So I got mine, then yours. Obviously, they came at different times, but we all got our green cards and our social security.
Also, when you went to get, because we had to obviously go for interviews in England, didn't we, to get our green card?
Yes.
Didn't they were talking about like you have to stay in your job for so long or something? Didn't they say something
No, I
about
can
that?
remember that.
I sort of remember them
Yeah.
saying something about that. But
It was maybe they were just explaining the contract with the Grady Payton.
Yeah.
But there was an option to buy yourself out. I guess
Yeah.
maybe they didn't know that. So that's how we moved from our journey from London to Texas.
But, yeah.
So
Texas, yeah.
it wasn't it's stressful, but now it's harder. I understand that they don't actually, you know, apply for green cards. Now they just do work visa because a lot of people have been buying themselves out of the contracts.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
agencies
heard.
sort of stopped that now.
Yeah. So I hope we have answered your question. Why did we move from London to Texas? Stay tuned because we'll be coming back with another video. Adios.
So it's fine. We'll be back.